Set. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is MSI versus AEON Esports. This is the third match for the Eastern Qualifiers for the International 2. This is a best out of 3 series, as all of the series are. MSI, definitely the heavy underdogs coming into this match versus AEON. The much more accomplished Dota 2 team. Definitely one of the favorites. Certainly after Tongfu, I think we both agree they are the second most likely team to advance out of this qualifier into the International and get that final slot. I'm not sure if you do, but I have a feeling you do. Either way, AEON definitely one of the top teams. Definitely one of the most accomplished teams. Whereas MSI, they have quite a track record in Dota 1, and they're a very young team, as we were discussing in the pregame. But still a lot to prove. No real accomplishments in Dota 2 to speak of.
Yeah, I'd say AEON fall in that similar group to teams like Myth Trust as well as World Elite. They're teams you know will not disappoint you. They will put up a strong, solid performance no matter what. And I'd say they're at the top of that group. I'd say they're definitely ahead of Myth Trust and probably ahead of World Elite. And you just know they're going to have a strong strategy in mind. They always play well as a team. The team they're up against, MSI, they're a bit of a wild card. They've been training hard. They're mostly a Dota 1 team. They've actually got Cast, who used to play for the Dustbin Dota 2 side. He's now playing with MSI, as well as Vash, who's actually a former Mineski player, not for the current Mineski team, but from a while ago he did play with Mineski. So we'll see what this team is capable of, as they have been training hard. And I have high hopes. I like these guys. They're a young team. They are trying their best to just compete in Dota 2, even with just 3 days training.
Yeah, hey man, talk about a crash course, right? If they can pull this off and dethrone AEON, it's not quite Navi or Zenith or any of the absolute top teams, but AEON is definitely in that conversation. I think most people would agree they're at least in that top 5, maybe top 10 for the entire Southeast Asian as well as Asian region, including China. So if MSI can even take a game off of AEON, I think that'll do wonders for their confidence. And again, this is double elimination, so nobody who loses today will be sent home. It's also a best out of 3, so even if you drop game number 1, you're not out of it yet. MSI is banning out a ton of pushing heroes, and that is something AEON definitely has been known to do before. I guess if you're looking at AEON, Sanctuaries is Swaman, correct? I believe that's Sanctuaries.
Yes, I believe so.
Whenever I watch AEON, Sanctuaries is always the guy that's sort of like setting the pace for the team, right? He's very aggressive.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Bruno, who's our statistician, helping me prepare for this match. And he compared him to PGG and said that he has suicidal tendencies. I don't know if I'd go quite that far, but he is a very ballsy player, very aggressive player. If AEON is going to be, whatever you look at Sanctuaries, that's where the action is going to be for AEON. So look to him to set the pace, set the tone for the game with his ganks. And if he gets, this kind of player who's very aggressive, if they get off to a bad start, it can really snowball. But of course, if they get going, they become nearly unstoppable.
Yeah, it can be. It's one of those things. It can be hit or miss. I mean, even look at PGG. It can be very hit or miss when he's on. It can be fantastic to watch, but if it's not working, sometimes you'll get picked off. And it reminds me of what we saw. Like, I mean, one of the games, was it last game? I guess. Yeah, Queen of Pain blinking into tower on a hero like Invoker, and that's one of those moments where you're just like, what was Queen of Pain thinking? That's kind of something you'd expect to happen when that kind of play goes wrong. But when it's spot on, you see the kills start rolling towards that team and a lot of momentum. But Chen, the first pick for MSI, not too surprised by this pick. MSI do like to run those jungle heroes when they can get them, and that's partly why they banned at the Enchantress. But here's a familiar sight. Windrunner and Queen of Pain, the dual pick from AEON.
And what a powerful 1-2 punch it is, of course. We just got done casting a very similar opening. In fact, I think it was the identical opening. Very mobile heroes, very strong burst damage heroes, and most importantly, great lane controllers. They also scale well into the late game. Night Stalker is the reply, and I actually love this pick as well as the Puck. It gives them amazing silences, and if you look at Windrunner as well as Queen of Pain, if you can keep them silenced, you can definitely pick them off early. Couple that with the Chen, and once the nighttime starts, if Chen is any kind of a start, if Night Stalker is any kind of a start, these squishy but potent semi-carries might be in for some trouble.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I like those pickups, especially the Night Stalker against. I mean, both Queen of Pain and Winner is effective against, but AEON are going to go straight for the Earthshaker just to help make their lanes nice and strong defensively. And I think this pickup really for AEON can round off their lanes very well and help deal with both the Night Stalker as well as the Puck. Puck to a lesser extent, especially Puck. If you can get up a Blink Dagger, he's actually one of those heroes who can kind of try and find the Earthshaker, isolate him, just blink on him, silence, drop the Dream Call on the Earthshaker and whoever else is nearby, and try and pick off Earthshaker early on in the fight. So maybe that's going to have to be Puck looking to snipe that Earthshaker, as if they go in Queen of Pain or Winner, Earthshaker's going to be waiting ready to back him up with a fissure, and things could go badly for MSI. But I mean, the thing is here, they've got the Chen. Chen is such a good hero to have against both Queen of Pain and Windrunner. The mech plus Hand of God is going to be so good at keeping heroes alive.
Yeah, Queen of Pain, unless she gets some crazy items up, if her nukes are not enough to kill you, generally speaking, she's not going to be able to secure the kills, and that's where the turnaround comes in. The Night Stalker with the silence, the high burst damage of the Puck as well as the Night Stalker. So I think you're completely on the mark here. The other thing that Chen gives them is the opportunity to set up kills, not necessarily in the Queen of Pain. She is very difficult to lock down because of that blink ability, but more likely the Windrunner. I could definitely see them getting some kills on her in the early game if the Earthshaker's not in position. And so, as always seems to be the case in these Southeast Asian games, it comes down to the Earthshaker's positioning. How sharp is he going to be? The Earthshaker we cast last game was fantastic in the early game, essentially saving a tri-lane that should have been lost just based on picks. In the end, it wasn't enough, but that Earthshaker play definitely kept them in this game. And another smart ban from MSI. I am very impressed by their ban so far. Banning out the Beastmaster fits in very well with AEON's lineup. Gives them another strong, versatile stun, as well as a solo hero, if they want to go that route. It also gives them more map control with that Hawk, so I love this ban, and I just think Evo is picking well here, picking smartly here. The one thing I'm a little bit concerned about is this Puck. Where is he going to find the farm? What is he going to lane against? Because frankly, I think Windrunner and Queen of Pain both handily beat Puck in a 1v1. In the mid lane, he might be able to hold his own, but the orb is very hard to actually hit a hero with. It travels quite slowly.
Yeah.
Until he gets a Blink Dagger, he's not the best initiator. He's not very strong in terms of the right-click war. Queen of Pain and Windrunner both have better attack animation, better base damage, and that might sound like small potatoes, not a big deal, but it actually can mean the difference between just getting dominated in the lane or winning it for yourself. So that's my one concern for MSI, but otherwise I'm very happy with the draft so far.
Well, I mean, with that in mind, they could just look to say, okay, Puck can't really do well against either of those heroes in a side lane. We'll get beat. Let's just put him against the Jewel or tri-lane that AEON are going to run. Play him as a suicide solo and focus on winning those other two lanes. I mean, they've got the Chen. They could maybe go for an early tower, at least some early ganks with a smoke plus whatever support hero they get. Just go with the Chen, smoke up, gank a hero maybe just gank the hero like the Windrunner, especially depending on where Windrunner's going to lane. If Windrunner's that suicide solo, smoke behind, kill Windrunner, take down an early T1 tower, or even the solo mid. I mean, depending on who AEON get for that top lane, I mean, you can just have that Puck as a suicide solo. There's not going to be an anti-mage. And anti-mage is one of those heroes who absolutely destroys Puck. I mean, you can almost 1v1 a Puck as an anti-mage. It's not normally a pretty sight, but we will see anti-mage, Tide, and Brewmaster banned out. Crystal Main, fairly straightforward pick for MSI, but I think a lot of people probably already underrating MSI. They're a team to look out for. I mean, they've trained hard, and in Dota 1, they have won the GEST 2 out of the last 3 months, and that's not for, I mean, that's for good reason. So we've got to watch out for them in Dota 2, especially now that they're taking it seriously.
Yeah, and the one that they did not win, I believe they either placed second or I think it was third. So either way, they've been up at the absolute top of the scene. And for anyone who's not familiar with the GST, that is pretty much the biggest tournament in Dota 1 right now, at least outside of China. So don't underestimate this team, and I still like the way they're drafting. I think Crystal Maiden, well, hey, it's always a great support, but especially against AEON, because it locks down that Queen of Pain as well as the Windrunner. Even into the late game, if you're able to Frostbite either of those heroes, they can't blink away if you're the Queen of Pain. The Windrunner won't be able to escape in Windrun. Sure, she might not be taking auto attacks, but still, holding her in place is going to be so helpful. It also sets you up fantastically if you want to run, say, a Night Stalker, Crystal Maiden dual lane. You can do that mid, you can do it in the safe lane, and then you have the Chen as the wild card. So my question is, where does MSI go from here? Because they have not tipped their hand whatsoever. I mean, sure, they've given you a sense of what they want to go for. They've got some gank. They've got some burst damage. They haven't decided yet, nor have they shown us yet, do they want to go for a hard carry? Do they want to go for another ganker? Maybe something like a Tiny, an aggressive hero, maybe with some lockdown. Maybe we'll see a Morphling pick here. I mean, I think they've left their options open, which is a smart choice, but now they are going to have to make that decision. And Sandkin is the pick. So AEON going extremely heavy on the team fight here, as well as the burst damage.
AEON have sort of tipped their hand now. It's going to be Windrunner or Queen of Pain in that safe lane probably, or at least in a dual lane or tri lane, because with Sandking and ES, they're not going to run both of those as supports. It looks like they want to put Sandking maybe mid against the Night Stalker, I would say. Have Windrunner as a side lane sort, and I think Queen of Pain likely to be with the Earthshaker as a safe lane, and it means MSI know it's coming, and MSI, they're going to go for the Death Prophet. So Death Prophet could be that solo mid to go up against Sandking and Night Stalker. I think if MSI is smart, they'll put maybe the Night Stalker with Crystal Maiden at bottom. So the Sandking, if Sandking goes solo mid, will get punished by a hero like Death Prophet. I like this last pick. It's a hero that's seen a bit of play in the European scene and had some great results, although it sort of has faded out. It was just sort of in the scene for about a couple of weeks, but now MSI are going to try their luck with it.
I love this pick, and hey, it could totally backfire. Death Prophet is very squishy, she's very farm dependent, she is easily ganked. But right now, if you look at AEON, they have a lot of burst damage, a lot of nukers, but like you said, they have a lot of heroes that need levels and farm. These heroes will not be effective at stopping pushes until they get those levels and farm. And who better to shut down the early leveling than a Chen? Once Death Prophet hits level 6, if she's over in the safe, or if she's mid, or if she's in the safe lane, wherever they decide to put her, and I think you're right about the lanes. I believe it will be a Crystal Maiden Night Stalker dual lane bottom, a Puck in the suicide lane, a Chen in the defensive jungle is what I would expect, and then a Crobulus, or excuse me, a Death Prophet mid. But once that Crobulus, or keep on calling her Crobulus, the Death Prophet, once she hits level 6 mid, she will easily be able to push down that tower, especially with Chen there to assist. And it's a Pudge as the last pick. Oh man, and the Pudge player for AEON is Agtrees, also known as Suamon. This guy changes his name every game, but guys, get ready for some aggressive play.
Yeah, he's been using Swamon for like the last 4 or 5 games that I've seen him, so he seems pretty content with that. Pretty content to not even wear the AEON tags, but it is going to be him on the Pudge. King going to go towards the bottom lane as Queen of Pain, but I guess with Sankey and Earthshaker, is it Windrunner support maybe? Or is Sanking or Earthshaker going to go? I guess it's Windrunner support. It looks like Sanking is heading mid with 3 branches. Going to maybe rush that bottle. As we will see, it looks like there is some drawings on the minimap. They want to go for a 5-man sweep towards the bottom lane, although they are a bit slow coming out. Pudge, where are you headed? Probably to the top lane as Sanking is building towards a solo mid build.
This is going to be a very awkward laning phase for AEON, to say the least. With 3 melee heroes, as well as the Windrunner, the Queen of Pain, the Sand King, and the Pudge, all desperately needing solo EXP if possible, and a lot of farm, at least a decent amount of farm, and a support in the Earthshaker who still needs some items to be effective. It's going to be tough for them, and they're up against some of the best heroes at punishing greedy lineups. Crystal Maiden, Chen, so effective from the early laning stages, and Night Stalker paired with that Crystal Maiden and the Chen, that is enough to get some early kills. So to me, what the early laning stage really comes down to is, will they be able to find an opportunity here either to pick off this bottom lane, get some kills, or at the very least completely shut down the farm of the Windrunner? It just got a little bit more difficult, as I believe the pole camp is currently warded off, and a nice ward here, for anyone who's not familiar with this ward, up near the bottom rune. It actually will block this camp while simultaneously giving you vision of the rune. So a great decision by AEON to place that there, doing everything they can to slow down the Chen. That being said, the 2 big camps are available for the Chen in the defensive jungle, and that is the primary deal. So it's mainly the lane that they're trying to shut down here. They don't want the pulls to be happening. They want the Earthshaker Windrunner to get some farm. I guess if this is just a 2v2, I want to give the edge to AEON in this lane, because Windrunner is just so powerful in the laning phase. Crystal Maiden and Night Stalker gets a lot of offensive power, but Windrunner should be able to do a good amount of harassment. It's going to come down to Chen, at least for me, as far as who wins this bottom lane, and I think that's going to determine a lot of the early game.
Yeah, we will see CM sort of poking around from the jungle. Does need to be careful, because Windrunner can just poke right back, and if you get a fissure there, when CM's not ready for it, with a shackle or a power shot, they could go badly for CM. So it will come down to this Chen. But Chen, I mean, he's got smoking by himself. It's not going to be the easiest thing to latch him for a kill. CM's actually being blocked by this fissure. Has to Tango on through. Will be okay here, as Windrunner taking a lot of damage as well. We'll see Tango's, maybe even the South being popped there, as Chen probably going to look for a gank fairly soon. I'm wondering how soon Chen will want to go. Will he want to get up a couple levels so he can get the Test of Faith? Or maybe right now, with this Centaur, will come looking for a kill at bottom lane?
Lest we lose sight of the fact that there is a Pudge in this game. It's not just a Pudge, it is a jungle Pudge. So I guess taking a page out of Puppy's book, as I believe he's the first pro to have done it in an official match. And what a time to be debuting this. I don't think I've seen AEON run this before, have you?
Not the jungle Pudge, no.
Okay.
I've seen him do some obscure things every now and then.
I know Swamon has played Pudge. I don't think he's ever jungled it. At least I've never seen it. Sounds like you haven't. So I suppose we should talk about this jungle Pudge. Now, for anyone who's not familiar with how this works, what you can do is you start off farming this small camp. You constantly stack the big camp. And by the way, supposedly Ice Frog has said that he considers this a bug, is planning on fixing it. That's according to an interview with Complexity. One of the players said they spoke to him, but for now it's in the game. Yeah. So essentially what you do is you keep on stacking this big camp, then you use a smoke and you rot your way to killing these creeps. When the creeps get to about half health, you get really low. You have to stop rotting, pop a salve, and then you continue rotting after the salve wears off, and you clean up the creeps. This frees up a lane. And we talked about how level and farm dependent AEON is. If this is left unimpeded, as well, actually I say that initiation on the middle lane. Wow, a lot of damage being done to Death Prophet, who should be having a bit of a better time. She is leading the way in terms of CS 10-4 compared to that 7-0 on the Sand King, but still, Sand King holding his own, and that's something you really don't expect to see. Jungle Punch, man.
Just to be clarified, Iceborg didn't say it's a bug. He said it's not intended, but he hasn't said it's on a. He hasn't used the word bug. I don't think you can call it a bug. It's just a difference in Dota to Dota 2 mechanics, and he wants Dota 2 to, replicate Dota 1 as closely as possible. So it's something he wants to change. CM at bottom lane does get fissure block here. CM out of 10 goes. Looks like CM's going to go down here. Doesn't have mana to throw up any nukes. Yeah, spot on with that fissure.
Oh, Suamon up top, he does gank, and that hook, how did that hit? Oh my goodness, and it looks like this will be a kill out of the puck. Phase shift not available, down she goes, the King might die to the tower, no, nice destroyed of the tower projectile will get out, so a quick 2-0 start. That Earthshaker, I mean, you said that it's one of the best defensive heroes, but Mr. Key showing off, if you know how to land those fissures properly, it can easily be an offensive hero as well. Oh
yeah, and we will see. I mean, Pudge is not really doing what we saw Puppy doing. Hasn't gone for the smoke jungling, for one thing, and also has not really been stacking. He stacked the big camp once, but after he stacked it once, the next time he could have stacked it, instead of stacking it a third time, he actually went and did the creep pull. So it's mostly just jungling using the creep pulls. He's not actually going to use the smoke technique, at least not right now. He doesn't seem to be looking to just keep stacking that big camp up. So it's a slight difference. It's more like a sort of a jungle slash, just focusing on creep pulling Pudge, just to get some levels, and he'll come out to gank when he thinks he can get some kills. Although Puck not the easiest hero to gank, but he's already done it once, so we'll see if he can do it again.
Oh, bottom lane, they wanted to make a go on the Windrunner. Unfortunately, they just don't have the burst damage yet. That Crystal made both nukes only level 1. We keep on talking about this Chen. When is he going to show up to the fight? He had a Centaur to start the game. He opted not to gank. Now he's just going to do a little harassment here. With the Satyr Hellcaller. It's not going to amount to a kill, though. And it is nice to get a Chen some levels. Don't get me wrong. That level 6 ultimate, very powerful. Will help you keep your allies alive. Will help keep that Death Prophet alive, the Night Stalker alive. And these are heroes, the longer they stay alive in the fight, the more devastating they become. But still, a Chen who's not ganking against so many heroes that really excel in the mid-game, it's a dangerous decision at best. And hopefully he's going to find better creeps to gank. So far, since that first creep, he's been quite unlucky. Puck may go down again, as this time it's Ken up top. Oh my god, this Puck is just getting completely shut down.
Yeah, Sand King just decided to roam top, didn't find her or anything, just went in with a stun. Puck was a bit slow with the phase shift, got stunned, and could not dodge either the scream or the stun as a result. And ultimately, I mean, a couple more kills going AEON's way, and we're going to see MSI have to look to find some kills, some towers. They need to get something in exchange, or need to find some way to get their foot in the door, as right now it's going to have to come from Chen, I feel. He hasn't ganked yet. He's got this smoke, which he probably wants to use fairly soon. The problem is, you can't really kill or gank this bottom lane. The ES is there with the fissure to back up Winrun. Winrun has the Winrun, and it's not really an easy lane to gank. If anything, that's somewhat been the strength of this AEON line. But as soon as they saw the Chen, they picked these heroes that could not easily be ganked, and Chen, as a result, is just spending time farming. Maybe should just be going for some tower kills if you can't actually get hero kills.
Well, once this Death Prophet hits 6, to me that's the critical moment, and as I check, she has hit level 6. I think the Chen could just come in right now and they could go for tower push. Power shot onto Vash, and he will live
the stout
one
shield.
auto attack. Oh, did the Stout Shield proc there? Oh my
triggered.
god. Oh boy. Cutting it close today, boys. Yes, you are. Earlier I was drawing a little line just to show how fantastic Mr. Kia's positioning was. He was sort of sitting right at this area before the tree line begins. Unless you're going to remove those trees with something like a Beastmaster, if you sit right here, you can always throw down a defensive fissure. You also cannot really be caught out. That is the perfect place to perch yourself. If they try to gank from the low ground, you'll have vision of them first, even if they're smoked up. So by positioning yourself, there's the Earthshaker, you will have complete safety. It looks like Sand King trying to make another go here up top. Ken does bait the phase shift. He had a millisecond there to actually Burrow Strike, but he's not going to go for it. Mr. Kia rotates mid to no avail, and Death Prophet looks like she's going to go buy some Arcane Boots. That'll enable the spam to continue, and in terms of what the middle lane, the tower is not really taking any damage. A little surprising considering the Sand King left the lane for a period. Now Queen of Pain is there, and Ken actually has rotated up top. I guess they feel at this stage of the game the Sand King is far enough ahead. Oh, bottom lane. Looks
There's
like
the Chen.
Windrunner
Chen decides to come do something. Yeah, just the dual nukes. Chen actually Test of Faith coming in now, and with it being nighttime, pretty straightforward kill. But anyways, back to you.
I was just saying, I like this decision to rotate the Sand King up top because at this stage of the game, the puck has just been shut down so hard. I mean, you mentioned that Anti-Mage can do very well in this lane. This is actually a lane Sandking can do well in, especially if he's sitting up at the creep wave farming. If Puck runs into range to throw the orb, it's very difficult to react in time if a Burrow Strike comes your way. Burrow Strike is not like Fissure or anything like that where it's got a long windup. It is a very quick spell to hit, and it's a level 4 Burrow Strike now. This also allows Queen of Pain to handle the middle lane, control the runes a little bit more reliably, and against the Death Prophet, Queen of Pain going to be a little bit, more on that later. Sawamon hits the hook again. This should be another kill. Chen is not level 6. Down he goes. Sawamon making things happen for C. Really everyone on AEON playing so well right now.
And that's unfortunate because the CM and Chen, they just smoked up. They were just heading mid, and that was as the Death Prophet got hooked and picked off. So this could end up ultimately being a wasted smoke gank, and Chen and CM wasting a lot of time. Not because it's a smart decision. I think that's what the move they need to make. They can't do anything at bottom with the ES and Winner, but this mid lane they can help out with. But right now, with Death Prophet dead, they've just got to wait it out, and that's just buying more time for AEON to get further and further ahead.
And they are indeed getting quite far ahead. There aren't any towers down yet, but Ken is getting free farm up top. He's already got Arcane Boots as that solo mid Sandcade. The Pudge with 1,000 gold in the bank, that is a lot, especially for a jungle roaming Pudge. Even Earthshaker with boots, Queen of Pain, only with 500 gold, but it looks like a bottle is being ferried out to her. Indeed it was. I believe that's a little bottle crow action. Nuts on that suicide lane, phase boots, and Rain of Regen. Everyone on AEON has something, at least boots, and let's compare that to MSI here. I only see 2 pairs of boots. That is not good. I guess the Night Stalker at least has some money, but aside from that, the Smoke Gank is going to start on the bottom lane. Frostbite to initiate. Mr. Kyo might be dead here. Double Centaur Stomp, and that second Centaur hit 2 heroes. Night Stalker with the nuke might be able to get another kill. The TPN is forced. The Chen nuke not quite hard enough. Shackle Shot not going to latch, but Burst Strike and Tower Rage. Chen not able to send him back. Epicenter is used. Will it get the creeps? The Centaur's not being microed properly. One Centaur drops during all of this. The top tower went down, I believe, just to the creep wave. Ken is quite low. He's got the mana boots though. What a Centaur Stomp, but just timely TPs from AEON. Able to save the day there.
Winner survived, but I'm impressed by those Centaur Stomps. The first one as well as the second one. Here goes Puck in at bottom lane. Sand King has no mana. All spells on cooldown. Great Shackle Shot. Puck forced to use the phase shifted. Centaur is going to take over, tanking the tower. Looks like Puck will survive this one as Night Stalker is still diving in, looking for this Winner, and Winner out of mana, has phase boot. Not going to keep him alive. As elsewhere, Death Prophet got picked off at mid, I believe, by the looks of things.
Oh, so Wadmon, he has not missed a hook yet this game. Chen ult is wasted, will not be enough to save him. Down he goes. While that all was happening, I think you just said it, the Death Prophet died again. This is an 0-2 Death Prophet. And I mentioned in the early game, she is a hero that has no escape mechanism, requires a lot of items to get farmed. She is a tanky carry, as you were discussing. And if you don't get that good start, there are so many stuns. So many ways to initiate on AEON, and that's not even counting the Blink Dagger, which Sandkane is, I mean, he's not there yet, but he is having a good start. I expect to see that Blink maybe in the next 8 minutes or so, and if he gets it up, I mean, you've got Hook, you've got Blink Stun, you've got Fissure, you've got Shackle. Of course, Queen of Pain we saw last game, if she ever gets a BKB, she could just charge the hell in, although it will be a little bit harder against that Death Prophet ult, but still, I mean, a Death Prophet without good tank items is going to have a really hard time against this one.
Yeah, no, I agree. Death Prophet is one of those heroes. You need to have a good early game. You need to get those fast early game items, whether it's your... I mean, even if you're not going for sort of tanky items, but he has gone for the Arcane Boots, but needs to get the next item up soon. Vanguard, Point Boots, in the Bloodstone.
Swamon in a bit of trouble here.
He gets the hook off, but he does go down, and Death Prophet taking a lot of damage.
I think she's dead.
Yeah.
Oh man, this Pudge is just out of this world. Swamon, even when he dies, he makes things happen. Again, the Death Prophet dies. Nuts in a lot of trouble. Nuts goes down. Chemo to follow. This is the mobility of AEON. Just so much. If they ever get ahead of the fight, they are going to lock everyone down. Fissure to clean up that kill. Puck joins the fight very late to the fight because it was so deep onto the dire side of the map. And all the while,
Chemo's still alive. Chen keeping him alive, and they focus down the Queen of Pain. Like the chain disables. I mean, the Puck ulti, the Frostbite. They killed Queen of Pain before Queen of Pain could even get the CM. So I think MSI, I mean, in the end, got an alright trade there.
Yeah, it's not bad. I still say advantage AEON, and I'm sure you agree with that. But hey, it is something in the right direction. And MSI does have the kind of lineup. If they get those basic items up, if you can't burst down a Death Prophet, you will lose the fight to her, unless you have some sort of crazy farm on a hard carry, or at least a decently scaled semi carry. And Windrunner is going to support build as well as that Queen of Pain. If somehow this Death Prophet can get tanky enough, or the Chen can get a quick mecha or maybe a pipe up on one of the other supports. I could definitely see them turning this around. They have such a great lineup to keep the Death Prophet alive too, with that Chen, with the Night Stalker silence, the Puck with his Dream Coil. Speaking of that Puck, he is nowhere near Blink Dagger, and that's something they definitely need on the top lane. Looks like we're going to see Death Prophet die again. How are you going to get items if you keep on dying? But are they going to let her get away? She's bottling up. I cannot believe it. They thought they had to kill him. They did not.
I think she's still dead, though.
She might die to the Shadow Strike.
Is level 2, I guess.
She is going to die. That was
level
real
maxed
close.
out. It's level 4 Shadow Strike.
Oh my god. What a
he hasn't
strange
gone for
game.
Blink. King is going max Shadow Strike, and as a result, his Blink's on cooldown. He's going to get silenced. He's going to die. If he had level 2 Blink, he would have survived that one, but the cooldown was too long. Smoke is popped, but they smoke right by the ES.
This game just got wacky.
Yeah, that was not what you meant to see in the Dota game, guys. But yeah, they smoked right by the ES and Pudge. Pudge hooked out the ES, and there we go. Shackle shot, Pudge hook, extends it, and now we're going to see Nightswell getting sent back to base. It's going to go just in time. ES ulti. Looks like they will lose to CM, but Night Stalker is kept alive. Pudge going to be looking for another hook, though. And Windrunner walks in front of that one.
Where is the Puck right now? He has a TP. If he poured it in there, that was a 3-man Dream Coil as well as a silence. I really disagree with this decision. Obviously, I have no idea who's making the calls here, but yeah, you got a tower. You could have easily gotten 3 kills for your team. At the very least, saved a hero or 2. Ken looking for this rune. If Puck gets this kill, that'll help make up for it. He is going to Burrow Strike in. The Dream Coil is used. The silence as well. Now Ken, actually, he can't go into Sandstorm. That has already been used. It's on cooldown for quite a bit. But maybe he won't need to. He's got Burrow Strike up. Phase Shift was available, I want to say, but not used. And down he goes. Death Prophet ult was popped in the midst of all this. Not going to get any kills. So Puck doesn't join his team, then he dies.
He got a bit unlucky with that Sanking. I mean, when he went on the Sanking, he was trying to steal the rune, and the orb actually missed. The Burrow Strike dodged the Puck orb somehow, it looked like. I don't know, it looked like he hit the orb, but oh, Pudge at mid, great hook. Although he did run away from his hook, so he wasn't in position for dismember, but it doesn't matter, they still lose Death Prophet, and now Crystal Maiden, Queen of Pain was thinking about an ulti there, that's for sure. Decided to cancel it halfway through casting, and we will see Queen of Pain maybe going this CM. CM going to scare the Queen of Pain away. Pudge looking for another hook. Not going to land this time.
Oh, but that fissure will hit. Shackle shot to follow. Not going to actually go in. Wand was popped. Silence from the Puck, who's finally with the team. There's the kill that they needed. And I mean, AEON is clearly feeling they're very bold right now. That was a greedy, extended fight. And if you're MSI right now, you're on the back foot. But I think what you want to do is maybe try and set up some baits here. You have a lot of squishy, delicious-looking heroes. You have a Chen who can turn the fight around. If they set up a smoke gank behind a squishy hero mid, even if Chen hits a hook, or well, Punch hits a hook again, Fissure as well, Epicenter, and the Blink Dagger is up on Ken, who goes directly onto 2 supports. Looks like they're both going to go down. No, there's the Chen heal. Nice micro. Cast is carrying this team with his Chen right now. What micro? A great save still. The Death Prophet continues to die. Night Stalker in the daytime he's got. Actually, he might be able to right-click King down. No, he's going to get shackled up to a tree. He tries to run Power Shot, Clop Bolt. He will go down. No Chen ult this time. And despite Cast's best efforts, it feels like everyone is feeding all around him. I mean, that's all the only way to put it.
Very true. I mean, Chen, yeah, look at Chen, 304. You can't say the Chen's playing perfect. He has spent a lot of time in this jungle. Hasn't been all that proactive until about sort of 7-8 minutes in. He did take his time going to look for pushes or ganks, but I think that largely came down to bottom lane being ungankable. Mid lane was pretty hard to gank as well. There was, Queen of Pain at mid lane. So none of these lanes were that easy to actually help out.
Oh, another hook, Sawamon. Okay, this might require a Pudge ban next game. Next game, the way this is going, they seem to have a magnetic attraction to that hook. And I mean, that is one thing about the MSI lineup. Anybody who gets hooked is pretty much dead. Puck can orb away. Aside from that, I mean, Night Stalker in the nighttime might be able to escape, but Death Prophet, Chen, Crystal Maiden, they are all food for hook.
Yeah, no, I have to agree, and we are going to see. Pudge going to throw another one? Going to miss the Chen this time, and Snare goes down. They're going to look to poke at this Pudge, but he's looking pretty beefy. As we will see AEON's Kyo hops the ultimate. Chen getting a very low, does go down to a Windrunner auto attack, and now Puck comes in with a Dream Coil, but there's not much follow-up damage. Windrunner going to take a orb, but has the mech up in about 5 or 6 seconds, and we will see him healing up his team with that, and I think AEON may be able to get this T1 mid tower.
Yeah, unfortunately, right as I was saying that Cast was carrying his team, he decided to net a creep there. I'm sure that was a misclick, but that was an unfortunate misclick. Ended up costing him his life. But AEON seems content with this all mid because they just keep on hitting hooks, and it's turning into big kills for them. Nice hill ward here, smart decision by the CM to place that. That'll help shut down a little bit all of this aggression, but during this time, the King doing what we've seen a lot of co-ops doing today, which is getting some farm on, split pushing, always available to join that fight if it breaks out. As long as the tier 1 is up, a co-op who has a TP scroll will instantly be able to join a fight, even if it's on the other side of the river.
Yeah, we're gonna we're gonna see being just such great presence now with that, really mobile, and we'll see whether or not AEON can start taking out a few more towers. They've only got the one tower at top now. They need to start getting a few more, but definitely they've got this big swing of momentum going their way. It's all on the back of Suamon's Pudge. He's now picked up a Staff of Wizardry, which makes me think 4-star. I'd be surprised if it was a Dagon. 4-star will give him some great mobility as he is going to throw another hook. Misses, but with these Arcane Boots, he can just afford to throw them whenever it is off cooldown.
Yeah, if you guys haven't heard yet, Dendy has announced the best way to play Pudge, which is just keep on throwing out hooks, because sooner or later they're going to hit, and there's another onto Crystal Maiden. The silence is available from Death Prophet, and she throws it out. The puck ult as well. Pudge might go down. The question is, will be enough? Ken joins the fight, immediately channels the ult. Blinken, stun onto 2. Huge plays by him, but the channel as well. It looks like the Death Prophet might turn this one around. This is where Death Prophet shines. Great silence right as Mr. Q is about to drop the fissure. Quap joined the fight. I heard the ult go out. Looks like she's able to pick off the puck. The Death Prophet ult continues to go. Doubt he's going to be able to catch out Nuts here. It looks like Nuts will get away. So a relatively even fight, and that definitely favors MSI. Still, as long as these hooks keep on hitting, it's got to be getting inside MSI's head at this point.
Yeah, well, at the same time, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, they just need to be more consciously aware that at any point a hook can come out. That's one of the things is you lose focus for a second, or just forget there's a Pudge in the game. You think you're safe pushing a lane, and then that 1k range hook comes out of fog, and you can lose a team fight. You can lose a tower just with one hero getting picked off. So it's one thing that MSI do need to be very, very proactive about. Keep the wards up, get as much vision as possible, and also just tank the hell up. We see it looks like Death Prophet going to be going for that Bloodstone build, which is, I agree with this build. I mean, can disassemble those Arcane Boots to get it a bit quicker as well.
Yeah, I like the Bloodstone build a lot. I also really appreciate the fact that she stopped to pick up 2 bracers, because we saw how much she was feeding, and when you're feeding like that, you cannot afford to farm a 1,000 gold item, because if you die 1 or 2 more times, suddenly the opponents have a couple of levels on you. They hit that level 11 ultimate sooner. Of course, wow, oh my god, level 14. I mentioned the King was farming. I didn't realize he had been farming this much. Blink initiation by the Sankey, just gonna miss the puck. Meanwhile, Mr. Q has found Chen, wants to make a go, but indeed it's Chen who's driving him back. The Echo Slam is up, it's dropped. Will he be able to lock down Chen? Looks like he will. The Buckler is up, but that won't do too much against these nukes. In fact, it won't do anything. Death Prophet is in a lot of trouble here. Will she? No, she should be okay. Crystal Maiden might be the one who gets caught out. Shackle Shot is up. It's not going to last. That was kind of close to hitting there. Death Prophet ult is popped. Sand King, no. Actually, he has the ult just now. Down goes the Crystal Maiden, and Death Prophet in a very bad position. Chen could buy back, or actually could he? No buyback, or he would have done it. I dropped his ult. Mechanism up on the puck, trying to keep that Death Prophet alive. It's not going to be enough. And while this is all happening, on the top lane, Night Stalker goes down. The ult was on cooldown. AEON is just flat out outplaying MSI right now.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm actually, I mean, I like this mech pickup for Puck. I think it's okay to get that before the Blink Dagger, give them that team fight survivability. But that's actually, at the moment, Chen is also building a mech. That is something I don't like to see, having the double mech coming. A bit of miscommunication coming out of MSI at the moment, as we will see. I mean, with heroes like Night Stalker as well as Death Prop being picked off, it's just getting them further and further behind. They're going to start losing towers now, as we will see AEON getting up some fairly strong items of their own. 4-star has been completed on the Windrunner. ES will be getting closer and closer to that Blink. A hook at mid. Puck gets drawn in. Queen of Pain Scream finishes them off. Suamon is on fire, and he's now got that 4-star. Going to be flying that out in just a second.
Oh, this is. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but if you've ever played against a Pudge that is on fire, you don't even want to leave your base. I mean, frankly, you don't even want to leave your fountain. And Suamon is absolutely on that level right now. It is dangerous right now. They have no map control. It's nighttime, and Night Stalker is running away in absolute terror. Of course, it's not just the Pudge, but hey, Pudge is an exciting hero. We got to give him a lot of credit. It's also that Windrunner with a 4-staff, Quap with a lot of money in the bank, and a hook is going to go barely missing. and most importantly, that Sand King has had his blink for a long time now, and that fast blink has just been huge. We've seen the big epicenters punishing over aggression, over extensions by MSI. MSI picked a lineup that should dominate the early game, but unfortunately just a few ganks didn't go their way. The Puck died a few times. He chose to farm during one team fight, which I still question, but hey, I mean, he got a tower at least. And from there, it feels like it's all been downhill, and really controlling the pace of the game, and it all goes back to Suwaman. He set the pace early on, that jungle pudge, but unlike Puppy, not just farming for 4 or 5 levels, ganking very early on, making those ganks pay off with some big kills.
No, I totally agree. I mean, the Puck should, a few times, just not in the right places, has died a couple too many times in the top lane, and now we're going to see MSI paying for it. At the same time, MSI, I mean, they've had moments of promise. I don't think, I mean, at the moment, the game is a little one side. MSI still have their chances. That hook not latching on.
I was terrified for that Crystal Maiden.
I mean, MSI have had their chances. I mean, even now, they're not completely out of this game. Death Prophet, I mean, just needs to tank up a bit more. I mean, maybe a Puck blink, get a few team fights, and then suddenly it could turn around. But, I mean, definitely MSI is showing signs of promise, especially if they do ultimately lose this game and we go into a game 2. But this game, I definitely think is not over. I don't know what your thoughts on that are.
No, I'm not trying to say it's over. What I'm saying is it's just AEON's in a place right now where it's so easy for them to get kills. It's so easy for them to increase their advantage, whereas for MSI, it requires perfect play. And one of the big weaknesses for MSI's lineup is their only reliable initiation is a Night Stalker charging in and a Puck dropping his ult. And Puck is just not reliable. Actually, I'll talk about that in a second, as Crystal Maiden will be sent back to base safely, but Puck is not really reliable until you get a blink, or at least a Force Staff. And I mean, we've talked about the double mech build. I'm guessing one of these will be built into a pipe instead. And we're not going to see that Buckler turned into anything else, but still, Suwaman, look at him zoning out this top area. They can't even farm their own big camp. In fact, this might be a Ched going down. Suwaman does he have the vision? I think he does. Does he? Actually, I'm not sure. Hook is going to go the other way. Puck silences off Nuts, but Nuts, of course, has the mech and the Force Staff. Does manage to hit Ken with that. Ken being locked down here by the Night Stalker. Great play, actually. Puck phase shifts. I think that was the wrong hockey. I think he wanted to orb in. Ken is going to be able to escape. Hook onto Death Prophet, who will be locked down. Chen heal is popped. Will the Death Prophet be sent back to base? If she does, the fight is lost anyway. No, she's going to live. Oh, boy, what a turnaround. Of course, the King is not even in this fight. So perhaps it's not the most meaningful engagement. But hey, they get a kill. Swamat on the high ground, maybe going for another. Meanwhile, Night Stalker trying to work down Nuts. The Blink Epicenter onto Night Stalker. I think this will be the death of him. Power shot piercing through, pick up that kill. So Wamad in a great position here to get a hook. I'm not sure he has the vision though, actually. He might see this Crystal Maiden directly below him. No! He might have seen her for just a second. It looks like he had a sliver of vision, and Ken might be the one to pay for Sawaman's bonus. BKB up on King. Finally, he decides to show up. Man, he was late to this fight. He will actually get focused down. Oh, so close.
The hook. Oh, Death Prophet gets hooked in and goes down. Great shackle shot. Burrow Strike hits all 3. The Chen, he sends back the Crystal Maiden. Great play from Cast. Pudge is looking for another hook. 4-star. The hook gonna miss, but they're gonna ultimately lose all of these heroes apart from the Crystal Maiden, who got sent back to base. They lose 4. And AEON, once again, more kills going their way. They've just got such a strong item advantage as well as level advantage. I mean, these Blink Daggers, the mechs, the 4-stars, everything going their way at the moment.
Yeah, you said Blink Daggers, and in case anyone missed it, I think I showed it, but I'm not positive. Earthshaker has one too. He has also got his level 2 ultimate, which against underfarmed, underleveled supports, this is too much burst damage coming out from AEON. I think the only way that MSI is going to take a fight right now is if they get pickoffs, if they catch AEON out of position. I don't see them take a straight 5v5. I mean, that fight, Queen of Pain enjoyed the fight after 2 or 3 heroes were either dead or just limping back to base with no HP. And still she was able to get away. And still the Death Prophet went down. So it's, again, anything could happen. They haven't lost Rax, they haven't lost their tier 2 mid or their bottom, although that looks to be in trouble. But the goal difference, it is massive at this point. Close to 14,000. The map control heavily in favor of AEON. All signs pointing to AEON taking game 1.
Oh, I totally agree with that now, especially now with those last few kills in team fights. You're just seeing AEON get more and more items, and Pudge now lurking around this bottom lane. If they go to try to defend this T2 tower, the hooks will start rolling in. Pudge actually aiming for the Chen by the looks of things, and there we go, the engagement from Sand King, Epicenter. Burrow strikes in, gonna go for this Death Prophet. Death Prophet ultimate doing a lot of damage. It will take out the Windrunner, and now Sand King just trying to get out. They've mech'd up, they're healing away. Death Prophet gonna get hooked and dismembered. ES ulti. and things once again going very, very sour for MSI.
Yeah, and it looks like Chen was just in a bad position there. He finally makes his way around, but it's too late to prevent the Death Prophet from dying, who continues to struggle here. Looks like Pudge will die as well. A nice turnaround, actually, for MSI, but again, all the while, Kane is just pushing. He plays this Quap like an anti-mage with a Battle Fury, and you and I, we've talked about this a couple times on the cast already today. This is really the preferred playstyle for a lot of these Southeast Asian teams and the Chinese teams right now, is to run an intelligent semi-carry like a Quap, a Leshrac, something along those lines, and actually farm up on them, not just go for ganking constantly, but play it as a semi-carry, especially in this game, or even try to go hard carry. Boots of travel as well as power treads. So I guess Cade wants the best of both worlds. He wants to continue farming all day, as well as being able to join the fight at any time. I think it's a great choice because his split push antics have not only worked out a couple of towers, but also forced back TPs from MSI.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, whenever you're forcing back those TPs, I mean, it's just really giving you... It keeps the momentum going your way. You're putting on a lot of pressure. You're limiting their farm. I mean, sure, they're TPing back to farm, but it's preventing them from pushing towers or really... I mean, basically, you're controlling where they move on the map. You're the puppeteers, and they can just... They can only react. It's AEON making all the calls and decisions. And basically, there's very little MSI can do except hope for some serious blunders to come out of AEON at this point in the game.
I love these aggressive wards being placed by the Earthshaker. This spot pretty unlikely to be dewarded here over towards the the western side of the map. Fissure set out defensively. Looks like everyone should be okay. Why are you on the high ground, Death Prophet? That is the question. Chen will send her back. She should be just fine. The ult, however, is popped. They won't have all that damage in this fight. It's going to be very hard to win this one. Pop blinks in with the BKB, focusing down the Chen, who is unable to drop his ult. He does a buyback. Expect to see a buyback any second now. It might be too late, though. 2 heroes already down. And it looks like Puck is continuing to chase. Night Stalker continuing to chase as well. They want the Windrunner, who's doing a great job of fighting. No force staff, but might be able to hit a clutch shackle here. And it looks like Night Stalker is getting juked. He's got the high ground vision. Death Prophet cleans that one up. She did TP back into the tier 2, has rejoined the fight. Still, when all is said and done, 3 kills going the way of AEON. Only one for MSI. They use the Death Prophet ultimate, and with that ult down, they're gonna lose a tier 2 man.
Yeah, this should go down here, and I mean, even we'll see Roshan probably going soon to AEON's way. Once this is the last outer tower, so it's pretty hard to break through, go for those tier 3 towers. Maybe with heroes like Pudge, I mean, they can pick one up before the fight even begins, but having that Aegis on your side is definitely going to be the preferred way to try and break through the MSI defense. I mean, they're up against a lot of spam with both Puck and Death Prophet, who can just spam those, well, the Crypt Swarm with the Illusionary Orb, and we will see. And they're actually going to back off, not commit to this tier 2 tower. I mean, MSI, they're actually respawning pretty quick because they're still fairly low level.
One thing we haven't done too much of recently is a check item progression here, and Ken very close to a BKB. Now, BKB will not help you against the Death Prophet too much, as her ultimate is physical damage. It will affect you even in BKB form. That being said, what it does is it removes any way to cancel that ultimate, so he can Burrow Strike on top of heroes, pop the BKB, immediately channel the Epicenter, and of course you've got the ES to follow up, lock them in place. They've got so many different orders of operation as far as initiation goes. They don't have to start with the SK, they don't have to start with the Pudge Hook, they don't have to start with the ES Fissure. Any would be fine, and of course who can forget that Windrunner Shackle, as well as the Force Step. I mean, it's just AEON has so many safeguards, whereas it's like MSI, if they, they've got like 20 holes in the dam and just enough digits to plug them up, but if a single limb gets tired, if a single digit shrivels up, the dam just starts crumbling all around them. AEON's got like some serious technology keeping that dam up and operational. So anyway, smoke gank attempt by MSI. It's gonna fail here. I'm not sure what you think of that analogy, by the way. You can tell me.
I think it works. I'm gonna roll with it. But right now, this leaky dam is coming in from behind. They may catch him by surprise, but no, Pudge hooks on the Death Prophet. That's the one they want to focus down first. Huge AoE combo coming in from ES, and it is MSI on the losing end. They've lost 4 right off the bat, even with all those Chen heals. There's the team wipe, as Cast actually disconnects from the game. Not sure whether that was intentional or not.
Either way, probably would not matter. If we take a look here at MSI, they have a couple of buybacks. But what good will do them? Death Prophet, no buyback. That's their primary source of damage. AEON, they've got a lot of tanky heroes up. Look at the Pudge, 2,400 health at this stage of the game. 16 stacks of flesh strength for a total of 29 additional strength. That is outrageous for a jungle roaming Pudge. 31 minutes into the game. Oh, so Wildmon, you are a beast, my friend. And MSI, in spite of the way this game turned out, I mean, if you look at AEON's lineup, they have the kind of lineup if they get ahead, they're gonna make you look bad. But that doesn't mean you played poorly. It's just those incremental advantages, a few missed opportunities, the puck slightly out of position, those little things. It looks a lot worse than it really is. At least that's the way I'm taking it. I feel like MSI, I loved their draft. I love the plan they had for this game, which is to push aggressively with the Chen, with the Death Prophet, the puck to sort of be their initiator, their team fight presence, the Night Stalker to help lock down those more elusive heroes. It didn't work out the way they hoped, but I mean, I still think they drafted well, and if they just played a little bit sharper, this could have gone completely differently.
Yeah, I think MSI got thrown a bit out of whack by a couple of things. Firstly, bottom lane, they were probably thinking that it was going to be a CM Night Stalker against a solo Windrunner. Ultimately, it was a dual lane Windrunner, and that means with the ES Windrunner being there, it means Crystal Maiden can't be a complete pest. Just sit in that jungle and keep poking. If it's a solo Windrunner, you can almost keep Windrunner level 1 with just the Crystal Maiden while Night Stalker free farms. But being a dual lane, that kind of threw them, it made it hard for them. Not to mention Chen as well, up against heroes like Windrunner, Queen of Pain, Sand King. These are hard to gank heroes. I think Chen was a bit disoriented, was sort of a bit questioning himself as to what he should do. Should he go gank? Should he focus on pushing towers? Or should he maybe just go pressure lanes and harass but not actually get kills? Because ultimately he couldn't get kills. In the end, he just spent a bit too much time in the jungle before getting involved. So I feel MSI just a bit of lack of experience and just not being as sure in themselves as they needed to be. It's similar with the hooks. You just have to believe that they're going to hit. And with a hero like Chen, you have to believe you're making the right decision when you do, whether you choose to gank, push, or just go harass a lane.
Yeah, and hopefully MSI will show a little more confidence and go into the next game. And hopefully for their sake, they feel more like we do and less like they're getting crushed at the moment. Although statistically, they are way behind. I mean, again, a lot of these games have started off super lopsided, and then we've seen. I mean, the last game we cast, it was not a comeback in the end, but it was a pretty epic hold for a long time. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a hold here. You talked about the AoE counter push power, the Death Prophet, the puck, very good defensively, but Crystal Maiden also going to be pretty helpful in that department. I guess the main issue is this time around, the team that has the lead has a ridiculous amount of initiation. I keep on going back to that because if you've ever whenever you watch a late game Dota, it comes down to a couple of key things, but most important among these, generally speaking, are positioning and initiation. Whoever gets the jump in a fight is normally going to win. Whoever has the better position in a fight is normally going to win. And AEON have the mobility, they have the items, they have the heroes to be able to get that positioning, to be able to get that initiation off. Once you see one or two heroes die, it's like a house of cards, especially the way the MSI lineup is built. They're designed to work together, they don't really stand alone that well.
Yeah, and we're going to see, with Roshan going down, the game is back on course, and now AEON probably going to look to do that crashing blow. They've already taken the mid-racks, so I'd say now MSI, it's all about preparing themselves mentally for game number 2. I mean, they can hold out for a bit longer, but ultimately this game is lost, as you've just mentioned, and we're going to see what AEON want to do to close this game out. Aghanim Scepter coming on Pudge. I mean, the items are just getting out of control, and there's just so little left to be done, and we will see. I mean, even King picking up an Aghanim Scepter, this is just completely one-sided at this point. And this is not going to be too much left in the tank for MSI.
Yeah, I mean, something you have to be concerned about if you're MSI is you don't want to burn yourselves out on this game, get frustrated. Yeah. Now, what a lot of teams will do is even when they're losing a game, if it's a longer series, they won't immediately concede, but they'll already, they realize the game is over, and they take a little time to sort of collect themselves, plan their strategy for the next game. I'm not sure if that's what MSI is doing. Of course, like you mentioned, they are a younger group of players, so they may just be sort of caught up in the moment. But that is something that a lot of more experienced teams like to do, and definitely a good way to sort of collect yourselves, get ready for the next game. So hopefully they'll be doing that, as it looks like they're in danger of losing a second set of Rex here. Nuts leading the way. He's close to a Hex himself. I mean, I guess the question really is, at this point, if we're looking towards the next game, what do you do differently? I mean, a jungle Pudge is something that normally, it doesn't sound scary on paper. It worked out that way. I would like MSI maybe to pick heroes that require a little less precision. For example, that Queen of Pain. Sure, you're in a bad position. Let's say you get hooked. You just blink away. I would love to see them pick up at least one or two heroes like that. Shackle Shot is going to latch on 2. Sand King pops the BKB, only hitting the Crystal Maiden with that Burrow Strike. Not the best one. BKB off on the Night Stalker. This Epicenter doing absolutely nothing here. This member is well on the BKB Night Stalker. Worst possible engagement we could have seen for AEON, and they are being driven back. Will MSI be able to turn this into kills? Huge Echo Slam for Mr. Keel. Quack ult to follow. So much damage being done in spite of the bad start. It looks like Pudge being held in place for the moment. And it looks like Puck is going to go down. Will Crystal to be able to get away. Hook to be coming out soon. Chen actually the one will go down first. So many Blink Daggers, and look at that chasing power from AEON. That was an epically failed Sentinel, and it just didn't matter.
The farm difference is just too much, and even with an epicenter being wasted, I mean, it's not like MSI have the firepower to actually take out many of these AEON heroes. They just back each other up well. They've got the 4-star as well as a mech on their side, and there we go. The GG's going to be called. We're going to go to game 2, as MSI have dropped game number 1. But as far as game number 2 is concerned, I agree. It's going to come down. They can't worry about what AEON are going to do. If they're scared of something like a jungle pudge again, that's the wrong mindset. They have to focus on what they can do with their draft, and I think I agree. Getting something like a Queen of Pain or a Windrunner in their hands, heroes like Puck, you have to be very precise with. I mean, I know early on they complained about a bit of delay. They're actually pinging only about 150 at the moment. They should be fine, but ultimately they need these heroes which they're probably comfortable with and that don't take much adjusting with. I mean, heroes like Windrunner, Queen of Pain, not heroes like the Puck, which they did get for that side lane, which ultimately was one of the main reasons as to their poor performance in this game 1.
Still, you know, there are some rays of hope. Let's not forget, AEON is definitely one of the top teams of this qualifier, and it is, of course, a double elimination format. So no matter what happens, you will be seeing more of MSI tomorrow. And hopefully, if for their sake, that we'll be seeing more of them today besides this game 2. I would love to see them game 3. Give them a little bit of confidence. Give us our first best out of 3 that goes 3 games of the day. For now, that is going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. MSI drops the first game. AEON 1-0 in this best out of 3, looking to close it out in 2. MSI looking to take it to a game 3. We'll be right back. I'm going to go ahead and